Welcome to the London Speaker Bureau Summer Drinks, an event that brings together the creme de la creme of the speaker world and the clients, the people who will ultimately book them. Now, this is a wonderful evening of wine and chat, a chance to network, to make new contacts, and of course to reconnect with old ones. Many businesses are facing tough times in the recession. The London Speaker Bureau has flourished and gone on to open several new offices around the world. South Africa, Japan, Holland and Turkey. Their recipe for success is a simple one: world-class speakers, excellent attention to detail, an ongoing relationship with both the client and the speaker, and of course organising events like this one. Now, it really is a very impressive balcony out here, as is the room inside. So let's go and see exactly who's here this evening.
China has been underestimated in the media and by analysts for the last year since the financial crisis. People predicted that China would collapse as a result of the global recession, but it hasn't. It has the policies and the tools and the mechanisms in place. So China will make it through and will continue to grow. India as well. India is finally investing more than 10% of its GDP in infrastructure, which is a very good long-term indicator of growth, but the two will not grow together or in sync. India is becoming a naval Indian Ocean power, very much focused on its relations with the Middle East and Africa and Southeast Asia. China is a very hungry resource power that is overtaking the land component of East Asia. So the two will grow simultaneously, sometimes in competition and tension with each other. They will not be an alliance like the BRICS, but they are very much unstoppable in their growth.
Do you enjoy speaking?
I do enjoy speaking because it's very different from television. It's more scary than TV because the audience is in front of you and you can know whether it's going well or not. But also you can do, I love to do a Q&A at the end because you speak about what you think they want to know, but the Q&A tells
you what they really
want to know. And I just did one today, and the questions were fantastic, and people are great at it.
I sort of see myself as a man of action. You know, I like to get out there and achieve things physically, but here it's all about achieving things mentally. You've somehow got to empathise with people, and that is important. It's always been important on my expeditions. You've got to understand how people work, but this is all about the theory. You've got to create your own world on paper, and I find it very, very hard, but great to do.
You've never shied away from controversy in your life, it would appear. Is it wise to always speak your mind in a leadership position?
Oh, what's the point of being in a leadership position if you're not leading, you know? So many people I know come into politics because they want the position. I just accept anything instructive in that's the way of life. You're there because you want to make changes that involves leadership. And you actually look back, all the great rows I've been involved in, come back 15 years later and they'll say, oh, Ken was right, because the buggers never say it at the time.
So what's in the pipeline, Ken?
Oh, I'm running for mayor again next May.
Oh, we know that.
And, well, that's a pretty big part of the pipeline.
Yeah.
Ask me if I think the Tory Lib Dem coalition will survive.
Do you think the Tory Lib Dem coalition will survive?
Of course, for Cameron and Clegg, it's the best they've ever had.
When my husband was diagnosed with cancer and treated with it for the second time, and actually told that it could come back for a third time within the next few years, that makes you basically sit up and think, well, what is life all about? And so at that point we had some dreams and we decided to pursue those dreams. They were pretty extreme dreams, but we ended up climbing Everest and the highest 7 summits on the continents, and we actually skied to the North Pole and South Pole as well, and you know, unexpectedly broke a few Guinness World Records doing that.
Through your mind when you're in solitary confinement? What do you think about?
You see your skin go white because you've no natural light. I was in the dark most of the time. I was chained to the wall, so I had no exercise. I had no books and papers for over 3 years. I had no companionship. I had one visit to the bathroom a day, so I had to learn to hold my bladder. And I was in that situation. You begin, as you see your physical body deteriorate, you wonder if you'll deteriorate mentally and spiritually. And what you have to do is somehow take care of the inner person, if you like, to go into the depths of yourself, to hold on, to find your identity and to hold on to it, and to take it the experience, although it's a very hard experience, to take it as an experience where there is still possibility to learn something and not to be defeated by it. And you'd be surprised what you find. I was surprised what I found as I took that interior journey, having spent a lifetime taking many exterior journeys.
Banks have to change how they're doing things. We have to move from a period of when you would have a bank account forever with a bank to now banks have to earn your loyalty. They have to really earn your relationship. Banks have to look at how they can help facilitate our lifestyles, no longer just supplying us with a couple of products that we take for granted, but really understand how we can use a bank to make our lives better.
What we do know is that a huge number of executives fail and derail. And you see this in the newspapers, the stories of them failing and derailing. People have known on the board that something's been wrong for a long time. And therefore I think it's terribly important that people have some insight into what mental illness looks like and when people are under far too much pressure. A lot of people, a lot of senior executives do collapse and fail and derail. And I think self-help books are very amusing, but they always give you a too optimistic answer. I think we need to have more mental health literacy and to be able to help people when they're in trouble.
Chris Agabusi, we all know who you are. You're a legend, for goodness sake.
Oh, thank you very much.
And you've got a wicked laugh. What have you been doing? Tell us what you've been up to.
Oh, well, for the last 15 years I've developed as a professional speaker. I speak about peak performance in the arena.
Yeah.
Stepping into the arena with passion, pride and a can-do attitude, focusing on your goals, being innovative, creative, resourceful in order to get them, asking for help because it's a strength, not a weakness, and being a phenomenal team player. And I was part of a British 4x4 team that ran the relay, and we made a very small change that made a massive difference. So look at your life, small changes, massive difference, be the best you can possibly be.
Thank you very much. In a nutshell.
Hey, all right.
Yesterday I was in Hull launching Humber Business Week in Hull. Extraordinary. The Saturday night I was in East Anglia, the East Anglia Cooperative Society. I gave an award to somebody who'd been a butcher in East Anglia for 45 years. It was quite moving. The night before, genuinely, I was doing the awards for undertakers. The British Undertakers Association awards ceremony. Top prize for thinking outside the box. It's amazing. And we even get paid for it. Yes.
Brian, a former senior policeman, London mayoral candidate. What's next?
Well, I do a lot of work for the BBC, for Sky News, talking about policing issues. But actually what I'm an expert in is leadership. I did academics research into leadership, and then I put those principles into action and turned around a police area. So I do leadership, both theory and practice.
Think Possible it's an inspirational and educational brand that I set up to inspire people to step out of their comfort zones, to question who they are, what they want out of life and how they're going to get it. And it comes from communicating my story as an ocean rower. Never been in a rowing boat in my life. Complete fear of being in water, and my dream was to row the Atlantic, which I did and ended up breaking the world record.
Colin, what's the best advice that you could give somebody?
I think the best advice I would offer are really three things. The first is to have belief and confidence in what you feel and you know in your heart, and if it's in there, believe in it. The second thing I would say is it's about energy. It's about having the devotion, the energy, the hunger to go that extra inch. The extra step is the difference between average and great.
Humphrey, whatever inspired you to sail around the world with no experience?
Well, I was a businessman. I sold my business and I decided I wanted to understand what leadership and teamwork was really all about in a very, very tough environment. So I did it as a business case study so that really to further my career, so that when I got back I could talk to people like you and CEOs who I meet, and I get asked to speak from a basis of experience. Because I never wanted to be fake. I wanted to be somebody who could say, well, this is what I found out, and have a dialogue with people who in business and in education and in sport, which I'm involved in, who face tough environments all the time.
What is the absolute #1 killer question for a salesperson?
Oh, I think for a salesperson, if you only had one question you could ever use, it's this.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing to you about? So if someone is selling you a car, they say, what is the most important thing to you about a car? And you say the size of the boot, and then you know to talk about that.
In relationships, if you say, what is the most important thing to you about our relationship, people tell you that's the thing you've got to talk about. So what is the most important thing to you about is absolutely the killer question. All sales people should be using every day.
The mind's an immensely powerful thing, and especially this next 10 years, I think we're going to start seeing and hearing stories about amazing things that happen. You know, the law of attraction is always working. So whatever we're talking about, thinking about, writing about, reading about, we carry the vibration of that thing with us. And by the law of attraction, we will start bringing it into our lives at some time.
The London Speaker Bureau are proof that getting people together at an event like this really does work. The room behind me here is absolutely buzzing, and they certainly don't look like they're going to go home anytime soon. It's been an amazing success on many, many levels. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you here next year. Bye-bye.